Due to their diversity of interests and passions, African youth are a rapidly growing consumer demographic. For your African youth-oriented show, how can you generate rich content? In order to understand the needs and wants of our African youth, how to create compelling media content, what type of media is the most popular among the African youth? What makes your show appealing to the African audience? And what are or is the best way to develop engaging storylines for the African audience and the African diaspora at large? A lot of questions that we are going to develop with our great South African partners, producers, and authors right away. Welcome our great producer, welcome to the show, Mr. Elder, and welcome our great inspiring international author, Mr. Prince. The floor is yours.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for the pleasure to bring us to your show, and we really appreciate it. This is going live as well on the African Portal Radio, and I want to sincerely welcome every one of you, no matter where you are, no matter the country you reside. I greet you according to your time zone, and I greet you according to your language. Welcome to this beautiful conversation on the on this media space. We are broadcasting from AFROMEDIA Canada and also live on the African Portal Radio TV International in Pretoria, South Africa. So if you are just coming in, I just want you to know that it's going to be a great time with one of our very own in the studio that we are going to be rolling it. We're going to be jingling it together. OWOKOYA Prince OWOKOYA will be on the spotlight. He's an author and also is one of the community leader and is doing so well in Colorado, in United States of America. And we are going to be having this conversation together with him as we are going to put him on the spotlight for him to do a justice to some of the questions that we have at the moment. So please, if you are just coming in, please share this program. Share it as many times as possible. We really appreciate your feedback as well. Please kindly send us your callers on the studio number on +277033584 in case you want to join the conversation. And also you can watch it live and direct on our media space on the African Portal Radio TV International. And at the same time, you can watch it live on the AFROMEDIA Canada. That is www.afromediacanada.com, and also it's on Facebook, and also you can watch it on our website www.theafricanportal.co.za. And this is going to be a great conversation with my guest in the studio. Join me to welcome one of the extraordinary, one of the intelligent, and one of the great leaders of our time, Prince OWOKOYA, on today's African Portal and AFROMEDIA conversation. How are you today, sir?
Thank you. I'm well. Happy Sunday, by the way. It's still very early here in the US. You know. Thanks for bringing me to your program. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome, sir. You are not new to this house, but you are new to AFROMEDIA Canada. So a lot of people will become join this conversation that will love to know who you are, where you are, and the position that you hold in the society. Kindly introduce yourself to the listeners at home.
Well, as you said, my name is Prince Michael OWOKOYA. I'm right here in Colorado, US, in America. Basically, I'm from Nigeria. Born and raised in Lagos State, you know. So it's a pleasure, you know, to be here with you guys.
All right, same here. Is this a great pleasure to have you on board? We have a lot of questions that we are going to do justice to on this program this hour. But before we go into that, I just want the AFROMEDIA to please kindly, if it's possible, we can just quickly get one or two adverts in, if probably, because I don't know how it works. If you want to put adverts in, we can quickly do that before we get into the business of the day, if that is okay by you.
We broadcast from Ottawa City, the capital of Canada. Together, we raise the bar and expand our reach. Through AFROMEDIA radio and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian AFROMEDIA channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume no responsibility.
AFROMEDIA Canada, c'est l'Afrique à miniature.
All right, thank you very much for that. We really appreciate it. And everyone joining us, I just wanted to know that this is going to be a great conversation today, as we have a lot of things that we are going to be discussing on this program this hour. We already have the one or two questions that we are going to be throwing to my guest in the studio. And at the same time, we are going to be putting him on the hot seat for some throwing the hard question and deal with some issue in Africa. The topic we are going to be talking about today is the topic that has to do with the youth, because there's one thing that is very certain. The youth are the owner of any country or any continent. And it's important that we start the conversation with the youth for us to be able to deal with some of the challenges facing the youth. So the conversation will focus more on them, speaking about how we can take them from where they are now to the next level. What can we do for the youth of today, for them to also become a great leader tomorrow? These are the issues that we are going to be talking about. And I have the experience and the experts in that aspect that's going to be doing justice to that. And once again, I really welcome you to this broadcast this hour. Let me quickly go to the introduction of this program and the question that is going to your way as the first question. Due to the their diversity of interest and passion, African youth are rapidly grow consumer demographic. And that is one of the challenges that we are having. As a matter of fact, it's not only the youth. The Africa become a consumer in the space. If you look at most of the time, we are not producing. We are kind of we are consuming, and that is giving a lot of challenges to our economy in Africa. But let's look at the youth. As one of the case study that we can. Talking about, if you look at it, you will see that our youth are more relaxing. You can see that social media, we are not creating anything, but we are using the social media. Facebook is not being created by African youth. It was created by the American youth, but it's been embraced and been used by the African youth. And you will look at it, almost of the social media platforms like Instagram and the rest are not actually developed from here. So automatically, African become a consumer. A consumer. We consume instead of us being produced. So what can we do? And how can we take the youth? That is what the first question is all about. That the youth will become a productive, not a consumer.
Okay, absolutely. Look, it's very complex. Okay, and I'm saying the situation we find ourselves in Africa, in respect of our youth and our status, our situation is really is very complex. But before I go there, I want to read you a poem real quick. That's very, relative to what we're talking about. And I'm saying to the youth. And I want to listen to this. And the title of this poem is coming from my book, A Beautiful Mind, on page 13. And the subtitle is "Show Me How to Grow." Okay, listen to this. He said, show me how to grow. I promise I'll be fruitful. And this is youth talking to us. We the elders, we the leaders in Africa or in the black world. Show me how to grow. I promise I'll be fruitful. Teach me your ways. I promise I'll be self-accomplished. Impact me with discipline. I promise I will exhibit distinctions. Show me love. I promise I will display compassion. Teach me manners. I promise I will uphold your principles. Show me leadership. I promise I'll be an excellent follower. So let's go to the last page. Say, show me leadership. I promise I will be an excellent follower. So the problem we have in Africa population right now is about 1.4 billion people. Okay, it's a hub for consumership. You know what I'm saying? Where they can bring all their goods and sell. Because the population is right there. It's receptive. Okay, for all those manufactured goods. But unfortunately, they're starting coming from Africa. And that has a lot to do with our youths of today. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the resources. We don't have the investment. We don't have the education. We don't have the necessary tools that our youth needs to be where they're supposed to be competitive with the other youths of the world. Look, man, when our youths, when they travel out of Africa, they thrive. They excel. They succeed. They compete with their peers. But when they stay in a stagnant situation, when there's no hope, when there's darkness, when there's no innovation, when there's no evolution, it's problematic to their growth, to their mindset. So when we look at the youth, you can't blame them overall. We have to blame ourselves too, because we are not giving them what they need. They show me how to grow. I promise you, if we show them how to grow, give them the right tools they need, we're very proud of our youth. So I'm not giving up on them.
Oh, thank you very, very much. I like what you say, but before we go out of that, let me just quickly expatiate that. So one of the challenges that we are having now, because when the youth is calling that, show me the way, show me where to go. So most of the responsibility now lies in the shoulder of the leaders in Africa now. So the leaders need to get to a level whereby they should be able to bring a balance and show them the right way to go. Because if the leader of today fail to do the right thing, it will be difficult for the future of, for the leader of tomorrow to be able to get it right. So what we are trying to say here is that all the responsibility now lies on the shoulder of the leader of today. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Okay. Look, I live in America. I've been here for a while. I went to college here. I went to graduate school here. I have a master's degree here. And when you look at the Western world, you can see most of the investment is in the future. They invested in their youth. If you look at their CEO here, they are mostly, under 30 years old. If you see the innovator here, they are youth. The government, they contributed a lot of money into investment of the future programs. We don't do it in Africa. We don't do all those kind of things in Africa. Okay? Look, America is asset-oriented. All right? So meaning that, they invested in a lot of things that, look, when look around us, okay? The technological advancements, telephone, everything we are doing right now, okay? They've been working on all these things for years. We can do the same thing in Africa. But it has to start from the top down, not from the bottom up. Our government has to invest a lot of money into our future generation. They are very smart people. Okay, we have to prototype. We don't even have to think. It's everything's right there that can be beneficial to the advancement of humanity in Africa. We can start from the elementary level. We have to give our people the basic necessities, the basic infrastructures, good road, water, electricity, things that can actually extend life. We can give them hope, give them love and care. And that's what we need in Africa, to make them be proud, our people to be proud and be futuristic, to have something to live for. And this can be done by our people, by the leaders, by the government, philanthropists, CEOs. Okay, and that's what we need to encourage in Africa. By what you are doing right now, by keep on speaking the language, by keep on preaching to our people that humanity, that Africa, that if Africa can succeed, can advance, then a black man will be proud over the world. We won't be a subject of despise. When we step on and be doubted, our intelligence. Nigeria, for instance, 250 million people. It's a lot of people, and yet we are still lacking so many things. I mean, that's really hard and populating. So we can't give up on our youth. We can't give up on a black man. We can't give up on Africa, because I promise you, things will change in Africa.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate your response to that. I'm going to walk around this to make sure that we are not exceeding the 1 hour on this program, so that we can be able to do some replay and also put it back on the spotlight, because this is going to go viral, and it's going to be one of the conversations that is going to gain momentum in this week and also in the days to come. All right, let's quickly go forward on the question that we have here in the studio, because it's important that we have to do it more snappy, so that we can be able to cover some of the questions that we already got here in the studio. And I want to sincerely appreciate every one of you connected with us. We are live and direct on AFROMEDIA Canada, and also we are live and direct on the African Portal Radio TV International here in South Africa. We have with us in the studio one of our very own is live and direct with us in the studio, Prince OWOKOYA. He's a author and is also a motivational speaker, addressing the issue facing the youth and Africa at the same time. All right, let's go to the second question that we have for your African youth-oriented show. How can you generate rich content for them? I mean, you are also, you have the books and you have everything. How are you planning to generate rich content for the youth?
Absolutely. I'm very happy that you mentioned this. Because my mindset when I come to this program today is to talk about self-empowerment. Okay. And before I speak on that, I'm going to go to my book. Like you said, I'm an author, by the way, of a very powerful book, Our Beautiful Mind, if you can see it, you know, and it's currently available at Amazon.com and all over the bookstores all over the globe. And I'm very proud to say that. So I want to go to my book right quick and read something very quickly in respect of what we're talking about, okay? About self-empowerment. So I'm going to go to page, I think it's 17B. 17B. Okay, right there. No, it's not. I think it's 120. Basically, this is talking about self-empowerment. Okay, I think I wrote it down. So basically, you say that a man has to be a man. Okay, a man has to be conversant with himself. a man has to be, progressive minded, right? You know, so that this what I'm talking about when it comes to self-empowerment. You know, our youths have to be well understandable about the attributes that can actually give them the opportunity to accomplish their dreams, their goals. And how do they do that? We have to create the avenues to give them those kind of enlightenment, those kind of understanding from the very early stage. That's what they do in China. That's what they do in most of these Asian countries right now. And this comes through education. It comes through knowledge. It comes through, you know, beautiful mindset. It comes through progressive thinking. It comes through intelligence. It comes through education. It comes through information. It comes through literature. You know, I mean, all these things that seminar, you know, to empower our youth from the onset, so they can find out, they can find their own, I mean, their own dream, they can find their own goals, they can find their own self. And that we bring a lot of distinctiveness, distinction, uniqueness to create greater leaders of tomorrow. To let them understand that the importance of life is not just money alone, that legacy matters, that individualism matters, that self-accomplishment matters, that self-discipline matters, that being a leader matters. If we can do all these things, I'm telling you, the mindset of our youth will start changing. Instead of them being so concentrative on the wrong dynamics, you know, and they will start going the right route, the way we expect them to go. So that will change a lot of things in our society, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that information is power, self-empowerment through education, knowledge, intelligence, they are very important to the future growth of our children, our youth.
Oh wow, 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 wow! What a beautiful message that you actually dropped there, and I really thank you for that. The future of our children, the future of the youth, is lie in what we do today, and one of the things that we are doing now is to create a content that we give them the space for them to exploit, for them to be able to discover themselves, for them to be self-reliant, for entrepreneur, for them to be able to think out of the box for themselves. And that is what the author is talking about there. I really appreciate that, and I really, really thank you. Let me just move to the next question on the line before we go back to the studio in Canada for us to have a break. Let me just quickly deal with the third question, then we move to that. In order to understand the needs and the wants of African youth, how to create complying media content. How can we create a kind of content that will comply to their standards, to their wisdom, to their understanding, that we also comply to their own way of life or the styles of their own current time? How can we create that?
I mean, like I was telling you, okay. With the best way to create that is through education, and education can come in so many forms, way, and dimension. For instance, Christianity, okay, religion. We can use religion to do a better job. That the concentration should be on the future progress of our children, that they can be more truthful and be more audacious or frank to tell our children the truth, how to be a better person. Also, we can also go further. People like you and myself, people that write books, they can lay much emphasis on how to be a better person, how to create a beautiful world, how to be more respectful, how not to be close-minded, how to know that one way is not only way. There are many ways. It's in my book that it's, look, man, we can't just depend in one ideology. We can't just rely in one doctrine. We can't just believe in one religion. We can't just believe in one way of doing things. We have to be open-minded to so many ways. In America, the world leaves everybody, they encourage you, oh, you want to come here because they believe in, dynamism, diversity, inclusiveness. And those are things we have to encourage our children because they are the future. Now, the future is very important. But why I'm so hopeful, though, is that if you see the acceleration of the advancement within 20 years, that's very encouraging that Africa can change. You know what I'm saying? So where we can, if you can set the paradigms, the phototypes, the things that our children are supposed to be doing, and we encourage them through our sacrifices, both financially, morally, and socially, and economically, to invest in the future of our children. I'm telling you, instead of us being consumers in Africa, we'll be the manufacturer because we have all the resources, both raw, material, and human resources in Africa. Okay, what we don't have is great leaders to change our life and the life of our children to what it's supposed to be.
All right. Thank you very, very much. That is a very lovely answer, and that is a very lovely response there. I really appreciate every one of you connected to this broadcast this hour, but especially those of you in Canada. Thank you for connecting. Those of you in Africa, in diaspora, I really appreciate it. Thank you for the pleasure of your time. Please kindly share those programs. Remember, the more you share it, the more you comment, that gives us a great joy for us to continue. And you can as well call me if you want to join the conversation. Call +27703 3584, or you can call the studio directly. We will definitely pick the question up, and at the same time you can also comment. Put your question on the comment section. We will respond to it as well. Before I continue on this, let me just quickly allow my
who is both an author and a speaker, the CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Welcome back, and thanks to the team in the studio in AFROMEDIA Canada. Thank you for the great job that you are doing. I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much for that. Let's just keep the ball rolling. It's getting momentum, and this is a conversation that is very important to Africa. And because we are talking about the youth, we are talking about the future of Africa. When we are talking about the youth, we are talking about what is going to be for Africa coming in the future. So please kindly join the conversation. Let's build the future together. The future began now. They are not the leader of tomorrow, they are leader of today. You have that at the back of your mind. If you look at some other country in the world, you will see that the people that is actually ruling are between the age of 40 to the age of 50. But the narrative is not the same in Africa, and we have to change that narrative. Well, how come Africa needs to be putting a man of 80 years, 95 years in power? That is an insult to the youth of Africa, and that needs to be changed. That needs to stop, and that is the reason why we are having this conversation with the Prince OWOKOYA Michael on the African Portal and also on the AFROMEDIA Canada, that we are having this conversation together. What type of media is popular among the youth of Africa today?
Look, I can't tell you specifically the media. As you know, the youth of today, unlike we the older guys, we are very, very rigid you know, in our thinking, not just our thinking, in our decision making and selection. The youth of nowadays, of today, they are very open-minded, and they are very open to anything and everything. Okay, so they are into a lot of things, Instagram, you know, Twitter, TikToks, Facebook. They're all over the place, you know. So that tells you right there that information is very powerful. Okay, and that's the more reason why I wrote this book, because I believe everything actually starts from your mindset, from the mind. Okay, this book right here, that's why it says Our Beautiful Mind. I believe very strongly that if we can influence our mind, our youth mind, like you said, they're already doing great things. Most of the great leaders today, entrepreneurs today, they are youths. All right. Only in Africa we're having some problem. And we look at the world right now, the most populated youth in the world is in Africa. Okay. I mean, from 25 years down, is in every other race, they are growing older. Only Africa, they are much growing younger, because we have much younger people in Africa. So that is that the future is in Africa. And the white folks know that too. So that's why they invested in Africa, because they know that's where the human resources is. That being said, okay, the most important thing that we need to do, since we know that information is very powerful and our kids are very open to information, is to use that medium to influence their mind, to let them believe in Africa, to let them believe in themselves, that they can do greater things, that they are just as good as their peers in European countries, that they're just as intelligent and smart, that if the field is a common field, it's a equal, how you say, it's a playing field for everybody, level playing field for everybody, they will just be doing as great, even better than most of their peers. But the thing I love about our kids from Africa is that we are very resilient. Okay, look, man, if you look at Africa, comparing to the rest of the race, we are just babies. We gained our independence. Nigeria gained independence in 1960, I believe. Ghana gained independence in 1950, 59, 58. You know, so that tells you right there that there's hope for Africa, that we are growing, we are crawling, but we can do better. So our growth will be accelerated. If always told them we are great leaders, they are very conscious of themselves, not only conscious of themselves. This is my book. Okay, but also conscious or cognizant of the conditions of the people around them, and have the love for humanity. Have the love for their own people. They're ready to sacrifice their life, give their life for the betterment of the black man, of their own people in Africa. That's when we start having some tremendous growth in Africa, and it's coming. So basically, I love what you're doing. We have to keep on preaching the word, telling our people that we can do better.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Let me just go to the next question. Then after that, we can do a wrap up together, whereby we have some conversation and some discussion before our time runs out. But I really want to appreciate those of you that you are in the studio in Canada. Thank you for the great work that you are doing. I can see your work there. Thank you very much. And to everyone watching it, please keep sharing it. Keep sharing it. I'm expecting more comments on this program this hour. Let's celebrate this great African icon, and let's celebrate this great man of our time that is actually doing great. So let's look at your book. What makes your book appealing to the African audience?
Thank you, sir. This is a powerful book. Okay, because it speaks to your conscience. You know, it's also in my book. You know, I say clear conscience is synonymous to heaven. When you have a clear conscience, you're a happy man. You're a self-contented man. This book right here is what our youth need in Africa. It empowers you. It gives you that self-confidence about yourself. It resuscitates the hope in you. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel differently. It makes you like walk on water. You know what I'm saying? Like you are invincible. It makes you love humanity. It makes you love it makes you love a fellow black man like you. And it makes you want to invest in a black man, trust somebody special like that. Because it says, man, a brother standing next to you, I can't find the page. It's a brother standing next to you. It's your brother. You know, it's more important to you than your brother that's 20 miles away from you. The black man, listen to what I'm saying. Your brother right there, hold his hand, love him, invest in him. It's the best you can ever do for him and do for yourself. The way to make Africa great is for all of us to come together and to realize we have to make sacrifice for Africa. It's not about Africa, it's about us. What can we do for Africa? Not what Africa can do for us. Africa is already beautiful, magnificent. Beautiful water, beautiful ocean, beautiful weather. It already gave us everything we need. But what can we do to make Africa great? Not just to us, but to the rest of the world. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very, very much. I really love that, and I'm encouraging everybody, please go out there, go and grab the copy of this book. It's available on Amazon. If you go to Amazon, you just put the name, Our Beautiful Mind by Prince Michael Owokoya. Prince Michael Owokoya. The book is to inspire you. It's a poem, it's a motivational book. So please go out there. It's available right now on the Amazon. Go and get it on Amazon. Please, you have to get a copy for yourself and get a copy for someone. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. So it continues like that. Please go and grab the copy of that book. And I guarantee you there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to grab in that book. This will be my final question to you before we are doing a wrap up and call it a day out of this program for this hour. For the African youth, I hope you are learning something from this Prince Michael Owokoya, the author of Our Beautiful Mind, a very powerful poetry and a motivational quote book that's currently available on Amazon. So as we are going to deal with the last question before we go to a wrap up, whereby we just have a conversation on what we have discussed so far, let's quickly look at this. What is the best way to develop engaging storyline for the African market? Engaging storyline for the African market. Let me give you an instance and we can elaborate it as well. Let's look at the media space of the world today. You can agree with me that the Western systematically rip up of our language by introducing cartoons to our to Africa, and you will see that from the age of 6 months to age of 1 year, anything a child learns from the age of 6 months to age of 2 or 3, that stick in the mind of that child, and you will see that most of their content, which is in cartoon, is in their language, which is English. Ascending to Africa, and Africa are more embracing the Western English than embracing their own language, because their language is not in cartoon. So what kind of the storyline, I'm just using that as an example, is very broad. What is the best way to develop engaging storyline for the African market?
Thank you so much. Look, when you're working against corporation, I have companies, so I understand the way. I work for corporations all my life here in the US, even in Nigeria. So I understand the way corporation works. Okay, they push things that you don't even want because they know they can create wealth and revenue. But like you and I, or others are done through activism. Okay, we have to keep on encouraging educating, innovating, spending money on our time to change the status quo. So let our people know that, look, man, like you just said, my book also said it about upbringing. We have to talk to the parents. We have to talk to our church leaders. We have to talk to our imam. We have to talk to all these people that have the opportunity or access to the youth or to the little one, to let them know the danger of wrong information, to let them know the danger of wrong upbringing, to let them know that every information is very important for the kids are watching. You may think they are little. Look, let me tell you something. Some people, they start talking to their kids from the womb. They read to the baby in the womb. You know what I'm saying? And then they come out, they become so smart and intelligent. Can you just imagine? If a baby can listen to a storytelling in the womb, despite that she doesn't have no concept of what it's talking about, just hear the voices. Come to talk about the kid, 6 months old, a year old, that's watching each of our parents, every move they make. So you have to be very cognizant of the danger of our actions or inactions in our household, in our churches, in our workplaces, because it influences our children. So how do we encounter all these nonsense? How do we encounter is to write good information, like I'm doing right here. This book tells you that, look, man, there's a quote right there. It says, son, he said, don't listen to a soothsayer that says your life or your destiny only depends on somebody else. It says, son, don't listen to anybody that's telling you your life, you have no control of your life. Everything depends on what your pastor is telling you. Your life is predicated on what your imam Babala is telling you. Nonsense. You see, when we educate our children, our youth, they can discern or differentiate wrong from right. I have a poem right here that says wrong or right. Now I'm saying, so this book, right, said, this book is so powerful that everybody, I'm not saying it because I'm the author or the writer. It's a compilation of 10-year work. Everybody should have a copy of this book. It's at AmazonRightNow.com. Go grab one. If you don't like it, I will pay your money back. I promise you that. Because the information in there just tells you the truth about emancipation, the freedom of thinking, of self-empowerment, how to better yourself, how to recognize your own self. A lot of people don't know who they are. You know who you are? If they ask you that. So basically, once we can be able to ascertain who we are, our cultural tradition, we don't have to be misinformed because we know exactly the right from the wrong.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Prince Michael OWOKOYA, the author of the book that is talking about who we are, talking about liberating the mind, talking about open eyes, talking about open your mind to the reality, and that is our beautiful mind. A very powerful poetry and a motivational quote books that is currently available on Amazon. All right, now let's quickly, before we allow the Saeed to continue this program, to join us in the studio, and we can also incorporate his own idea to it as well, because this is a debate, and also we can debate on the remaining 15 minutes or 10 minutes that is remaining. We can debate on one of the topic. So let me just quickly allow the adverts to come in now. Then Saeed, you can join us so that we can debate on one of the topics before we call it a day.
Thank you so much. It's already a great day. You are making our day here in Canada, Ottawa City. We are so excited to have you as one of the best African partner in South Africa. And we really appreciate our international author from US today, Prince, for his contribution and for enlightening our African youth. The show is yours. I'm just here to assist technically, but I'm highly inspired and learning a lot from your great guys and from your great leaders. Continue the great work that you are doing, and this is just the beginning of the great work that we are going to do for the coming show. Back to you, please. Thank you so much for the great production.
All right, just stay back.
Africa and Canada tonight.
All right, just stay back. I just want us to debate on this. let's look at the issue that is happening in Africa currently. There is 1 million of African youths moving out of the Africa, relocating to Canada, America, and some other parts of the world. Let's debate on this. Is this good for African future? Or is this how we should leave it to continue? Or do we need to do something about this to make sure that African youth remain in Africa? I don't know your thoughts about that, Saeed, but let's hear from our guest in the house. Let's hear from the author of the book before I allow you to speak about that, because this is open to everyone that wants to join the conversation as well. If you want to be part of this conversation, can we leave African youth to continue driving out of the Africa? A lot of African youth die on Mediterranean, or in the name they want to cross the Mediterranean into Europe, and a lot of them have died in the process. So what can we do to stop this? This will be the conversation that is getting momentum on this broadcast right now. So OWOKOYA, Prince Michael Owokoya, I leave the floor for you to talk about that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank my brother too on the other side. Look, man, we can't stop the movement or freedom of movement in a global setting. You know what I'm saying? We can't do that. Okay, it's very unfortunate that our best of the best in Nigeria, all our doctors, they have a program in UK that took the best of the best doctors to UK, to the Western world. And as an individual, people want the best thing for themselves. Okay, so the only way we can stop this is through our leaders, through the encouragement, by setting up the infrastructures, by giving our children, our people, our engineers, our future, the great leaders of tomorrow, the opportunities they need in Africa. They don't have the amenities, they don't have the tools, they don't have the financial encouragement, they don't have the recognition, they don't have the things that they enjoy in Western world. When they spend all their life in school, you know, to become a doctor, it takes a lot, financially and otherwise. And then when they graduated in an environment that is not conducive to growth and advancement and success and happiness, you want to leave. We have to change the dynamics of Africa. We have to change things are done in Africa. We have to encourage our people at the best to stay in Africa by providing them what they need. And that's the reason why they are leaving. And there's something we can do about it right now until we change our mindset. That's why they have to go and buy my book, A Beautiful Mind. It changed all those wrong assertions, wrong declaration, ill belief. You know what I'm saying? So we can set our priorities right. You know what I'm saying? Because life.
Wow.
Wow. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So we need to change our mindset. We need to change our thinking faculty. And that is why it's important that we go and grab the copy of this book. But I agree with you saying that the only way to read is that we have to have the infrastructure, and we have to create a system whereby there is a job for every graduate in Africa. Not that people study, most of our doctors leave Africa, relocated to other parts of the world and performing there, and they are doing great. But until when we create an infrastructure, a system that we let them stay behind and enjoy the fatherland and enjoy the wealth and be part of the system and contribute to the system, that is only when we're going to have the growth in Africa. Saeed, I'm not sure if you're still there. If you're there, I just want you to come into the program. I just want your view about that as well. You are a media person that also understand what we are talking about. What is your view? You live in Canada and you understand how this thing works. The system is working in Canada. If you look at it side by side, putting the Africa and Canada side by side, Canada is far better than staying in Africa. How can we also make Africa to become Canada?
Great. Thank you so much. Very interesting question. Very enlightening indeed. First question should go to the people in power first. And second, the people in Africa, the youth themselves. We have to ask them to participate in the debate, what they want exactly. And then we have to listen to them, as our great international author has shared already. So knowing exactly what they want, knowing their interests, and serving them locally. If the leadership in Africa is taking care of the youth properly, correctly, professionally, diplomatically, then, and politically and socially and economically speaking, they will not come to anywhere, they will not go anywhere in the world, because the future of the world is Africa. But if you are suffering in your country, if you spend 20 years at the university and you get out of the university, graduate one of the best in your promotion, one of the best in your class, and you didn't get no work, you are getting exit to nowhere.
Well,
then you will come to the West and you will start from zero. It's very painful to come to the West. Don't think of the West as a paradise. The West are very intelligent. They are opening their doors only for smart people. And they would like you to start from zero with your kids, with your family, to be a part of the system in the West, to serve the West. This is how smart they are in integrating you when you are rejected by your country. But if your country is opening the door for you, then we have to get back home. As we said in the proverb, home sweet home, the best place in the world is your home, no matter what you are getting. But remember, there's nothing like free lunch in the West.
Absolutely.
You have to do it yourself. You have to work day and night to learn French, to learn English, to learn engineering, to work day and night, to work and study at night or on the weekend. If we can do 10% of the work that we are doing here in the West, back home in Africa, Africa will be the best continent in the world. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Said, for that contribution. That's a very beautiful contribution. And I think this conversation shouldn't just be talking alone. There must be an action towards this out as well, because it's one thing to discover a problem. It's another thing to find a solution to the problem. We should not be the one we should not be the one that's part of the problem. We should be part of the solution. So the AFROMEDIA Canada and the African Portal, we are the part of the solution. We are looking for the solution to this problem. And the solution is for us to have a leader that we have, a visionary leader, that we create a system, a workable system in Africa without depending on the Western. That's a system that we work between ourselves, having a conversation with the youth, speaking to the youth, listening to them, and hear what they really want, so that we can create a system around that to develop Africa. That Africa also, we also have a lottery that people will need to come to Africa. That is the future that we are talking about, whereby Africa will also be doing African lottery. That people are coming back to Africa to come and reside in Africa and work in Africa. That is the future that we are talking about here. And I believe it's very possible in Africa if the leader of today get it right. Prince OWOKOYA, you want to say something about that before we round up? We have about 2 minutes to round up this section.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. I just want to compliment my Mr. Elder. What's your name again, sir? I want to compliment you for what you said. You said one thing important, that because I've lived in a foreign land for a while now. You said that nobody wants to live at home and go to a foreign land. You want to be with your people, want to listen to your language, want to eat your food. Things you are accustomed to. But because of situations, a lot of us left. We live in a foreign land. And I know that most of us, man, though the foreign land may be nice and beautiful, but it's not like a home to you, where you are with your friends, your families, you know what I'm saying? So basically, like Joshua just said, that, look, man, we want to, I know it's going to happen. Africa will be a land that we can, actually people have to ask for a visa before they can come. white man have to ask for visa if you can come to Africa, because we have so many things that Africa is the future. You know what I'm saying? And I know things will change. All we need is great leaders to change our life, to change our existence to better. Because we already know it's possible. It's done everywhere, but in Africa, China is doing it, India is doing it, you know, Brazil is doing it. I mean, Malaysia is doing it. You know, all this. If all these other people can do it, well, how come we can't do it? You know, and I'm open. Look, man, let me just say something very quickly, to our leaders, to our youth in Africa. And this is in my book. It's on page 258. I'm going to just read this right quick. He said we can only go as far as we can see. We can only see as far as we can go. We can only succeed as far as knowledge, our intelligence, efforts, and performances. We don't expect the white man to come and make Africa better. We have to do all this on our own to make our continent to be the best continent in the whole world. And it's possible.
All right. Thank you.
Really powerful. Thank you so much for those powerful conclusion and the inspiring output there. And this is why we in AFROMEDIA Canada, we want to voice Africa, to present Africa and represent Africa to the world in our own voices. We want to tell our own story instead of being told by others, instead of being listened to our story told by others. It's time for us to tell our African story. That's why we are looking for great partners like you, like our producer, Mr. Elder, and like our international author, you, Mr. Prince, as one of the expert African in diaspora. This is what we need to explore the talent we have worldwide, put our mind together and present a very different picture of Africa that is completely different from the stereotype that is in traditional media. So we want to be the voice of Africa in a new media, in a new streaming that is going live to the African youth and the diaspora at large. Together, we can do it. Back to you, producer, Mr. Elder, please.
Thank you very much, Saeed. I just wanted to be exactly, I don't want us to expand it more than 1 hour. So let's call it a day here. We're still going to be bringing Prince OWOKOYA back. And there's a lot of guests that will be coming to this program that will be doing it together. So please kindly keep watching AFROMEDIA Canada. Is all for everyone, and also the African Pulsar Radio. We are now in collaboration with the AFROMEDIA Canada that we are going to be promoting African content together, finding solutions to the problem of Africa, talking about the issue that is happening in Africa. This is your home, and this is where we put the conversation on the spotlight. And I want to sincerely thank everyone that have been part of this conversation. Thank you for coming out, and Saeed, thank you very much for the pleasure of your time. To everyone, and to Prince OWOKOYA, thank you very much for coming out, and God bless you. And we are going to enjoy ourselves.
Very quickly, before you leave, I just want to conclude right quick to my African leaders and brothers and youth. Like, the race doesn't stop at the beginning point, right? Okay, it actually ends at the finishing line. So please, man, don't give up on us. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on Africa. And don't give up on African youth.
Indeed. The race is not end from the starting point, it's actually end at the ending point. And remember, the sky is no longer the limit. The sky is the starting point. So don't look down on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Africa, we can do it. Speak Africa, wear Africa, eat Africa. God bless Africa. Dream Africa. God bless you, and it's goodbye from here. You can end the show now. Saeed, thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just the ending is a new beginning that we are all going to do together. Until we meet again, this is Saeed. Wishing you all the best. Ottawa, AFROMEDIA, Canada.
Thank you.
We broadcast from Ottawa City, the capital of Canada. Together, we raise the bar and expand our reach. Through AFROMEDIA radio and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch